Hi, everyone, and welcome back to day 20 on My Kids Think I'm Cool But podcast holiday special. For 25 days, I will be interviewing an international living abroad, and they are going to be talking about Christmas in their home country and in Christmas in the new country they live in. It can either be in Denmark, it could be in Netherlands, or the US, but we are going to be talking about how they balance both culture and how they celebrate it in the home country or in the country that they're currently at. So today I have Krissa, and
Krisia.
she lives in Denmark with her family. Her husband is Dane, and they have two wonderful kids together. Thank you so much for joining me and also talking about your Christmas and how you celebrate it back in Bermuda. Can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Krisia,
Hmm.
and I've been in Denmark for the last 10 years. But this is the eighth country I've lived in. So
Oh,
I've done a
wow.
lot of traveling. Yeah. Um, I'm originally from Bermuda, and I have, yeah, like you said, I have two kids. Marcus is 4, and Leo is 9. I teach English as a second language to adults. I'm starting my own company. Actually, I've started my own company teaching English here in Denmark and also online. I've expanded to uh, hopefully this coming year, I'm going to release an online course in
Oh,
business English. Yeah.
great. That's actually really great, and that's something that's needed, especially in Denmark. Everyone's always looking to improve their English,
Yeah,
since there's a lot of internationals living here. If you don't
absolutely.
know Danish, you should know English to get a job. So it's
Yeah.
one or the
At
other
a pretty
language.
high level as well. So,
Yeah. So thank you for that introduction. So let's get into the Christmas spirit. How do you celebrate Christmas in Bermuda?
yeah, so Bermuda is a tiny little island in the Atlantic Ocean. It's people often think it's in the Caribbean, but it's not. It's much further north, and it's very isolated. So, and Bermudians are from all different places. There are no native Bermudians. So there's,
Mm,
British people, people of, black people mostly from the Caribbean, and yeah, who were brought there during slavery. There are people who come to work from different countries and then end up staying.
mm,
So the culture is a mixture of a whole bunch of things. And the Christmas traditions are also a mixture. And I think the way, like, for example, the way I celebrate Christmas in Bermuda is going to be different from the way another person with a different background, a different family history celebrates. But I think what makes it Bermudian um, is kind of that the atmosphere that's created. And there are some things that we all do together that's really fun. And so, one of the things that when you said Christmas in Bermuda, the first thing I thought about is the Christmas parade. There's a big Christmas parade. Santa Claus comes on a fire truck, which
wow.
is different. But I mean, reindeer and sleighs don't really make any sense in Bermuda, where it's, the coldest it gets in winter is like 17, 16.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Santa comes on a fire truck, and there's dancers, and there's like it's like a party, this Christmas parade. Um there's also a decorated boat parade. So the
Mm,
the harbor right in the middle of the city is becomes a place for boats to have like all these Christmas lights, just like you decorate a house. They decorate their boats, and there's like a big parade of boats, and everyone stands along the harbor, and the boats go by, and it's really cool. Um, so yeah, and like I said, it's not cold. It's not so cold during Christmas. I mean, it's cold for us. It's like
yeah.
16 degrees. That's like freezing, but relatively speaking, it's not so cold. So a lot of times people will have their Christmas meal, of course, gathering the whole family and extended family. And you go outside, the kids are outside playing. Yeah, it's not usually a indoor event unless it's raining. Yeah, so in my family, we always had a big family reunion with, when I say family reunion, my grandmother had it was one of 6 siblings. And so all the sisters and brothers and their kids and their kids and now their kids as well. So there's a huge like well, there was not this year, but there
Yeah.
there was a huge family gathering, and I think it's much. I remember it being much more informal than what we have here in Denmark. You know, everyone brings something. There's a turkey, there's a ham, and then there's all the side dishes. I'll talk about that in a minute if you want.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be
and
great.
it's all very informal. You know, you grab a plate, you get your food, you stand up and find someone, and you just have your plate in one hand and you're eating it with the other. And you know, you go around and see your cousins and aunts and uncles and things, and kind of visiting with everybody that you haven't seen in a few months, or maybe since Easter. We also have a big family gathering at Easter. I think the focus isn't as much on gifts, not at
Mm.
least not in our family, as it is in a lot of other places. Like at our family gathering with the extended family, we don't really exchange gifts. You're there to see everybody. Your presents are the presents. Is the
Yeah.
present. Yeah, we wake up on Christmas morning, the 25th, and that's, you know, you have your tree and you have the gifts under the tree that you've gotten all through the Christmas season, because we go visiting and stuff. And if people have given you gifts, they're there under your tree, and you start opening them Christmas morning. So it's not like a big thing where everyone watches you open their gift. It's like a family thing. You know, the kids wake the parents up early, you open the gifts, and you don't necessarily have to open up all the gifts. If you open up something and you want to play with it, then you go ahead and play with it, because you have plenty of time during the whole Christmas holiday to open all the gifts. I remember saving some for the next day and the next day, and writing thank you cards, of course, as I opened the gifts. So yeah, I miss that part of the tradition where the gift giving was it was more private, and so it wasn't about, you know, what did someone give me and what should I give them in
Yeah.
exchange. It was more like, just I have these gifts that were, you know, someone thought of me and got me this gift. So I think that's one of the differences for me here in Denmark, where, you know, you exchange gifts and you're expected to open it right away.
Yeah.
I remember taking these gifts and putting them under the tree and waiting anxiously until Christmas morning so I could open them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds almost close to the American way of, or not all American way, like how my
Hmm.
family celebrated it.
Yeah.
Christmas in Los Angeles, we just gather around and everyone gets together on Christmas Day and open gifts and just be together. It's not so formal, like
Yeah.
you sit here and you have dinner and everyone has their place and you don't move from that place.
Yeah, yeah. For us, it's also much more informal, and I think that Christmas breakfast was also a big deal in our family. Like waking up, opening the gifts. You know, the kids would wake the parents up early and start opening gifts. You want the biggest one, of course. You want to open and see what that one was,
Yeah.
and then I know in our family we always had pancakes and stuff for breakfast, and had a nice breakfast, and then. As far as I remember, my parents used to go back to bed, and then the kids would be up playing with gifts, and it was just a nice time until it was time to get ready to go. We would probably leave at around 1 and go to the family thing. But like I
Okay.
said, it was very open. It wasn't like we had to be there at a certain time, and we would go for a few hours, and then um we had another part of the family that we would go and visit, my mother's father's side of the family, and we would have dinner over there, and it was a lot of the same food.
Yeah.
But again, it was very informal. There's no seating arrangements or anything. It wasn't really about the food, it's about being together, but the food was
Okay.
important because it's Christmas.
Yeah, the food is definitely important,
Mhm.
and presents afterwards for the kids more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you incorporated? Actually, how are you going to celebrate in Denmark? Do you kind of try to incorporate some of your traditions that you had when you were younger in Bermuda, or do you just stick to the Danish tradition of celebrating Christmas?
I think what I've done is, you know, and obviously this is with conversations with my husband, but it's altered the Danish traditions so that because I want some of the feeling that I grew up with.
Yeah.
That I don't want the presents to be the focus of Christmas. I don't want, you know, I don't want this kind of formality necessarily with my Christmas with my kids. I don't want them growing up with this super formality around Christmas. And yeah, so I think one of the things I like this idea of the packet calendar.
Yeah.
Um, I remember the first time I did it, I was putting a gift in the stocking every day, every night. And that was a nightmare because I'm not that kind of person. I would forget, and my son would wake up and like, oh, the elf forgot to leave a gift. I'm like, oh no. He'd go and brush his teeth, and then all of a sudden the gift was there. It was like magic. But yeah, I couldn't handle that. So what I started doing was getting um, a Lego set, and yeah, before the 1st of December, separating it, photocopying the instructions and separating it by some instructions each day with the pieces that correspond to it.
Oh,
And so
okay.
they're all like strung up along the wall in little packages, and I made these little cloth packages. So the kids absolutely love it, and they've come to expect it. They know that the elf is gonna bring a Lego set for them on the 1st of December, and they get to assemble it little by little. So
Oh,
I
that's
think,
actually a really good idea.
yeah.
I
So
could
it's like,
add.
yeah,
Go
go ahead.
ahead. Sorry.
It's like the experience of it rather than what did I get. It's like
Yeah.
they know what they got by the third or fourth day. They can figure out what the set is.
Yeah.
But the excitement of having, four or five new pieces and, a page or two of instructions and putting it together and seeing it build and knowing that, at the end of it, they're going to have a new Lego car in this case.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. That's a good idea. We do just a Sunday, but we committed to the Nisse,
Hmm.
and I'm running out of ideas.
Yeah, I did that one year. I can't. I can't. I find that because these things aren't part of my own tradition, it's all just so stressful. Like it's just another thing to think about that doesn't have all of these positive connotations for me. So it's like
Yeah.
the Nissa thing and the putting a gift every day, it was just driving me up the wall. So
Yeah.
I had to kind of sit down and say, okay, I need to create some new traditions that
Yeah.
are that allow them to be part of Danish culture,
Yeah.
without, but without me having to stress over it. I
Yeah.
don't want it to be a stressful time of year for me.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
can understand because last night I completely forgot to do something, and I'm
Hmm.
like there at 12 o'clock at night. What am I doing? What
Yeah.
am I doing? And then I was like, okay, I put the chairs on the table.
Yeah. So I actually with the gifts, I got little clothes pegs that have numbers 1 to
Yeah.
24, and I crocheted a string, for them, and I just like clip them on there, and they're decorated, and we have some Christmas lights around them. So the kids come down on the morning of the 1st of December and they see that the elf has been here
Yeah.
and decorated. And so the gifts also are my decorations.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to decorate the whole house and put stuff everywhere. I change, the placemats to red placemats. I throw out a couple of little
Candles.
poinsettias,
Yeah.
and
Candles.
and we're good with decorations. I just don't want it to be a stressful time of year for me. So I work really hard at kind of creating traditions like the music that we play. I love
Yeah.
Handel's Messiah, and so we start playing that around December 1st, and my kids start singing along with this classical Christmas oratorio. So it's really fun, and we make cookies together and stuff. Um, Decorate cookies and stuff. But they also do a lot of things with their, famo and fafa. So the Advent gifts on the Sundays that comes from famo, although it's the elf that brings it,
Yeah.
um, and things like that. And then the Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve is also usually with the grandparents. Although this year I get to host it.
Yeah. That'll be
Yeah,
fun. Are you
yeah.
cooking the duck or the geese?
So
Are they
okay,
bringing it?
yeah, no, no, I'm cooking the duck. That's not a problem. The thing is, so I'm doing the duck and the brown potatoes and stuff like that, because for my husband's family, that is Christmas, and my
Yeah.
mother-in-law is making the risalamande.
Okay.
Um, However, I am adding a pork roast, which I'm gonna do like how we would do it in Bermuda. Actually, normally we would have a ham in Bermuda, a Christmas ham.
Oh, the good
Um,
ones, right?
yeah, I don't
The
know
sweet one, right?
if you know of anywhere where I
I've
could
been
get one.
looking. I've
Yeah.
been looking.
If you find one, let me know. But we would take a ham and take pineapple slices and put around the outside with cloves to
Yep,
stick it
that's what
into
I'm
the
talking
ham.
about. That one. No,
And if
I
I
know what
can
you're
find
talking
a
about.
ham, a bone-in smoked cured ham, I would be so happy. But I'm gonna satisfy myself with a pork roast. I'm gonna try and get a bone-in pork roast. But
Okay.
for me, for as a Bermudian, the big thing is the side dish. We have something that we call cassava pie, and it is the most bizarre
Yeah.
food you can imagine. But it's cassava is a root vegetable,
Yeah, I
and
know
you
what
can,
cassava
you
is.
know, cassava. So you can buy it grated and dried, so it's like
Mhm.
almost like fine pieces, and so you soak that overnight. And then you make like a batter with it, with eggs and butter and sugar, brown sugar and cinnamon, nutmeg, all these
Mhm.
spices. Okay. And so imagine you've got your cassava mix. It's like
Yeah.
a almost like a cake, but it's very heavy. There's no baking powder. There's nothing to raise it. So it's
Yeah.
like this very heavy mixture. Now, on the next step is to boil chicken, chicken legs and thighs
Yeah.
in some salted water. And then you take these pieces of chicken without the bone, you take them off the bone and put them in a layer over this cassava thing, and
Uh-huh.
then put another layer of cassava on top. And
Well,
then you
that's heavy because cassava is heavy on the stomach.
cassava's heavy. So you bake that in the oven for like 2 hours because it takes a long time to cook all the way through.
Yeah.
And what you end up with is like sweet, spicy, heavy, uh, delicious
Yeah.
cassava with chicken, and it's like sweet and salty and cinnamony, and it's bizarre to think about, but it's absolutely delicious. And so I'm gonna make that this year.
You're making my mouth water.
You'll have to come over for some. Yeah, but
You're gonna save me
cassava,
some, like a big, like a little piece, because I love
yeah.
cassava.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
you love this.
Oh, I probably
Cassava
would,
pie
because cassava
is
is
a
very good.
Bermudian specialty, and I had a friend from Canada once for Christmas over for Christmas in Bermuda, and she was trying to understand cassava pie. She's like, "This just sounds bizarre," and then she tasted it. She's like, "Okay, so it's chicken cake." I'm
Chicken
like,
cake.
chicken
Oh,
cake. All right, we'll go with that. But
that
yeah, we'll
sounds
have
good to me.
a turkey ham, cassava pie, some peas and rice, black eyed peas cooked with rice. And those are some of the traditional things.
You won't go full on tradition. You're just making the pie
I'm
part.
making the cassava pie, and yeah, I'm not gonna like stress out my Danish family too much, but I'm gonna do cassava pie as a side dish. And if I can find a ham, I'm gonna be really super happy.
I've been looking, so I'll keep you
Yeah,
posted because I
yeah.
also been looking for a ham. The hamburger gurine
No,
doesn't do it
no,
for me. It's not the
no,
same.
no. You need a bone. You need the
Yeah,
bone.
and then
Another
it doesn't
tradition.
have that smoked taste.
No.
And then also with the brown sugar taste.
Yes, exactly. Glaze that ham with the
Yeah,
brown maple glaze. Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
But you can
Yeah,
never find it here in
no. I think next
Denmark.
year I'll probably find a butcher and kind of order something in advance and have them cure it for me.
Okay.
That's probably my only I don't know,
I don't
unless
know if it'll
someone out
taste
there
the
knows.
same though.
But I think if they cure it and smoke it in
Yeah,
advance with the bone in, it's really important it has that bone in because that's
yeah,
where the flavor comes from.
yeah.
And also in our family, it was a tradition. My father would take the ham bone and the turkey bones and make soup on the day after
Uh,
Christmas. A,
yeah.
a huge pot of soup. Like people would come and visit us all the next day. Knowing that my father's soup was on the pot, and then he would make soup and dumplings because my father's from Barbados, so he had
Okay.
traditions from home, and that
So
soup
it's
was
just
his
all mixed
tradition.
up.
So I really miss that as well.
Uh, so you actually answered my next questions. Like,
Okay,
what do you miss about Christmas in Bermuda?
I miss of course I miss my family. I miss that feeling of hanging out with my family. We often played games like Pictionary and Yahtzee and stuff. And I know they do that here as well. But I miss my family.
Yeah, I bet.
I always miss my family around Christmas. I also miss the lead up to Christmas in Bermuda. In that lead up, like, you know, the week or two before Christmas, you're visiting people. Um, My parents always baked cakes. My father decorated them, my mother baked them, and he did amazing royal icing decorations. So they would make like 20 different cakes, and each one would be decorated like a Christmas gift. So the cake was the gift. And of course, fruit cake was a big thing. And my mom made really good fruit cake. And so we would go around visiting people like every day, every
Yeah.
evening, like after school, and just drop in and drop off a cake and, wish them a Merry Christmas. And often they would also give us a gift, but sometimes they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But,
But
we
that's
would
not the
visit.
point. It's more of
No,
like
the point
we
was
want to
to
visit.
visit. Yeah, that
Yeah.
visiting I really, really miss. That chance to see different people. And, you get home and people are dropping by. It was never arranged. It wasn't like I'm coming to your house on Thursday at 6 o'clock. No, it was just, drop
It has
by.
to be arranged here. You don't
Yeah.
go
So,
surprise.
yeah, I miss that kind of, hey, do we go
Informal.
out tonight or do we stay home? And if we stayed home, invariably somebody would come by and visit.
Yeah.
And of course, with the visiting, there were always after eights and quality streets and these
Yeah.
things out. And so, yeah, that just always reminds me of Christmas. And Danish butter cookies. That was a part of the Bermuda Christmas tradition.
Same for Denmark. That's like the gift you give to like, your neighbor or something
Yeah,
or the teachers.
but we always had the blue can
Yep.
of the Danish butter cookies, and everyone had one. So when you went visiting, there was always the Danish butter cookies and some after eight chocolates and some quality street chocolates. And I always had the Danish butter cookies. So
Yeah.
it's really cool now to be here.
Yeah, that's what I think. When I came to Denmark and I was like, hey, these cookies are everywhere. Oh, are they from here? I was like, oh, it makes sense now. My
Yeah.
husband's mom worked at the factory.
Oh, really?
She's retired now, but yeah, she worked at the factory.
I
Uh,
can't find them in the blue can because I wanted to send some to friends, and
yeah.
they're really hard to find except in the tourist stores.
I found them in Netto,
Okay.
but I don't know where. I thought they were just normal in regular stores. Maybe it's just like a
But I want the
souvenir
blue
thing.
can,
Yeah,
and I
the
want them
actual
made
blue
with
kit.
butter and not margarine, because a lot of the
Okay.
ones that you find now are made with margarine, and that doesn't count.
No, that doesn't count. That's not the same.
It's Danish butter cookies. Come on.
You know what's funny? My mom didn't know. My mom first time coming to Denmark for Christmas,
Mhm.
and she actually brought them, not thinking, not thinking that it was just actually coming here. And I didn't tell her. I didn't think she was gonna bring them.
Yeah, that's
And then
hilarious.
I came and I opened a suitcase. There was like two tins. I was like, "Oh, mom,
Oh,
these are from here."
that's so funny.
Because like for me, I didn't know. Like it didn't click in my head. Danish cookies,
Yeah,
Denmark. So I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, these are
yeah,
good. It reminds me of Christmas."
yeah.
So my mom probably thought the same. It's like, "Oh, this would be a great gift there." I'm like, "It comes from here."
There's one more thing that is so Bermudian that you would not find anything in the world, anywhere
Yeah,
else in the world. And that is on Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, the 26th of
yeah,
December. We have something called the Gombes, and it's these dancers, and they wear these masks and they have these hats made of peacock feathers. So you can imagine this headgear is like, it's like over a meter tall, and they have a live drum section with the drummers and snare drums and stuff, and they dance. It's like an imitation fighting, almost like
hmm
how capoeira is.
yeah,
But yeah, so this is a Bermudian tradition that dates back to slavery,
yeah,
when they weren't allowed to fight. And yeah, so they would, their costumes cover all of their body. You can't see who it is.
yeah,
And there's a lot of secrecy around who are the Gombes.
yeah,
But so the Gombe troops travel around, and they come around and you can hear them drumming from way away, and everyone comes out of their houses and watches them dance and dances with them, and it is absolutely amazing, and I love the Gombes. So you listen out for the Gombes all day on Boxing Day.
Oh, that sounds really cool and kind of really fun to see when you're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and
And
when you
it
go
happens
out,
every
of course, you
day,
see
or
your
not every day.
neighbors, you see all of your neighbors there, and yeah, and it's really another time to socialize and be together.
Yeah. Ah, that sounds so, so wonderful. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing your traditions in Bermuda and then how you do it here in Denmark and how you balance it with your husband's family and with your traditions. And it seems like you're going to be doing it this year a little bit different with the cassava chicken pie.
Oh, I can't wait. My mouth is watering.
I know you made my mouth water. Well, thank you again. And then for the listeners, thank you for coming back. And if you want to find out what day 21 is, you'll have to come back tomorrow. Until tomorrow, everyone, bye.